Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition, the Shadows of Amn. And when last we left off, the party took care of Kangax the Demi-Lich and gained the Ring of Gax, a powerful artifact that has loads of really small abilities. Individually, none of these abilities would be artifact-worthy, but with all of them put onto one item, this is definitely an artifact of substantial power that Terry is likely going to be using for the rest of the game. With that done, we are back in Watcher's Keep, right in front of the portal that leads to the Imprisoned One. Because we're going to pay the Imprisoned One a visit. Remember what they told us to do all that time ago? They told us to get all the way to the Imprisoned One and use the Ritual Scroll to seal it away forever, and thus end the threat that the Imprisoned One poses to the entire material plane. Let's go and get this over with. It shouldn't be too tricky. Or will it? Down we go.
You dare to approach, mortal.
As you step into the chamber, a feeling of palpable power washes over you. You get a sensation that something has turned its attention towards you, gaining an alien interest in your presence that forces your insides to clench reflexively. You do not see anything physical within the chamber, but you feel its presence all around you. A phantasmal hand brushes your cheek, a curious gesture that startles you and is gone just as quickly. There is something in this place, Abiel, a most disturbing presence. Walk carefully and trust nothing. Great advice, Viconia. The presence then moves away slightly, as if considering. You hear it speak within your mind. Its speech, however, is not in words. It is a mix of indecipherable emotions that burn across your brain, leaving an impression that is clear.
I am the Imprisoned One. You intrude upon my solace, mortal.
There are many options here, but I think what Terry wants more than anything is answers. What are you? Why have you been imprisoned here? Impressions assault your mind briefly. Knowing amusement combined with bitterness and images that your mind's eye refuses to recognize and turns away from. Deeper impressions instill a sense of one name that the being prefers. One that applies to you and it both. Prisoner. Us too? Wait, that wasn't part of the deal. I am no prisoner here. What do you imply? Low power suddenly thrums throughout the room as the presence gains a measure of respect for your willingness to listen. Faint anger and outrage flood through you, directed towards something other than yourself. It is simple, your mind interprets. You are being deceived. Another image forms in your mind, and you recognize dour men in armor, and further, behind them, lurks a sinister purpose. Hellmites, you are told, the Knights of the Vigil. There is bitterness and anger in the presence as it conveys its unjust imprisonment by a sect who do not worship Helm at all, but secretly take succor from Helm's darkest enemies. You are told that this is why the Imprisoned One is kept here, to keep their secret. Echoes stir in your mind as it asks why you think the Knights would send you into this place instead of coming themselves. You are told to ask yourself what will occur when the seals are strengthened. Impressions of amusement swirl as you are asked if you believe the holy symbol will truly let you leave then. Are we being deceived? Are we actually being betrayed? Or is the Imprisoned One twisting our doubts and our thoughts to make us think that we're going to be betrayed? Either way, we're going to find out when we use that scroll, when we strengthen the seals and try to leave. Why should I trust you? The Knights have given me no reason to be suspicious. An alien chuckling rings through your head as the presence draws closer. It smells murder on you and names you as the spawn of Bhaal, a being to be feared. What better a pawn for the false Hellmites to send for this task? Why imprison only one dangerous being? Why not imprison two? The Imprisoned One is certainly making a good point, but we only have the Imprisoned One's word for this. And we don't really know the Imprisoned One. We can't even see the Imprisoned One. So we really have no choice but to read this scroll. I shall read the scroll then. I trust you less than anything else. The presence reels from your mind with disdain and outrage, settling to amused acceptance. It calmly tells you to read the scroll of the false Helmites, but warns you not to be surprised if the results are not what you expect. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. All of the impressions in your mind become more vague as it withdraws from you, waiting for you to commit your act. That scroll is far, far, far at the bottom of Dragomir's Respite, and it is used like any other consumable item. I believe it is, if we go up a little bit, it is there. Let's just read this again to refresh our memory as to what it is. This is the scroll provided by the Knights of the Vigil to reinforce the seals keeping the Imprisoned One in the dungeon. Let us put it here, replacing this figurine that, let's face it, I've never actually used, but you never know, I might, and use it.
You dare to approach, mortal.
The currents in the room waver as feelings of resentment laced with amusement wash over you. You interpret the sensations as the Imprisoned One's congratulations. The seals are renewed. It tells you to attempt to exit now, and to come back to it when you fail.
Yes.
Let's head up here and see exactly what the Imprisoned One means. And this is what the Imprisoned One means. These portals are not working, and will never work again. We were in fact deceived. By strengthening these seals that keep the Imprisoned One contained, we have trapped ourselves as well, forever. The bell is tolling on our fate. The bell swings soundlessly, seemingly supported by some invisible force. An inscription on the wall reads, "Beware, O mortal, and heed these words. Keep well the ritual, and still shall sit the bell. But should the Imprisoned One break his bonds, this bell shall ring out warning to Helm. He shall know thou hast failed in thy duty, and his anger shall burn like the midday sun." Looks like these bonds are not holding the Imprisoned One anymore. And should we make a way out, there's a good chance that the Imprisoned One will also be able to escape. We do have the option to talk to the Imprisoned One. The Imprisoned One is there, albeit currently invisible, but we're going to be making some preparations first. And when I say a few preparations, I mean a lot of preparations. Starting with Hexat. Hexat is going to remove the Cloak of Dragomir, making her set traps 50%, because we are going to be setting a couple of traps. First, we're going to be setting some snares, right here. And there's a good chance that Hexat is going to fail at this, because we do not have a good set trap skill.
Someone's getting an unpleasant.
But every single one that we set is damage that will trigger just in case combat starts.
Someone's getting an unpleasant surprise.
And there's a good chance that combat is going to start.
Someone's getting an unpleasant
The
surprise.
50-50 is certainly working in our favor right now. And as soon as I say that, we fail at one of them. Now, we want to make sure that we do not set a time trap here. We want to set all of our snares and all of our spike traps. As many of them as we can actually get active. And we're doing pretty well at setting these here. Can we get all of the spike traps? I think we can. This is probably going to be one of the few times that I'm actually going to be using Hexat's ability to set traps, at least in the Shadows of Amn. And my, is it worth it.
What is it now?
Now it is time to get a little bit of pre-buffing going when it comes to spells. We're going to get a Fallen Diva here. We are going to get a Skeleton here. And another Skeleton. Then we are going to, I think we might want a few protective spells for our party. We want a Death Ward here. We we want a, let's pause here so that the Death Ward doesn't expire. We want another Death Ward. And a Chaotic Commands.
I'm busy, okay? I'm busy.
And then another Chaotic Commands. Then a, I think then we want you to use your, Simulacrum ability. There we go. So that we can have everyone protected by Protection from Fear and Protection from Evil. You never know when these might be useful, considering that we don't fully know the identity of the entity before us, but we have been given a fair few clues as to what this entity is. There is Protection from Fear. Here is Protection from Evil. We are nearly done. What we need to do now is get a haste here. I want you to berserk. I want you to berserk. And then I want you to move as close as you can without getting into a conversation. You can't get into a conversation, which is fortunate. I want you to go there. I want you to go here. I want you to go here. And then we are going to save. Because we're about to have a conversation. I say conversation because this isn't going to be civil for very long. It was barely civil to begin with. And I hope this is going to work. Alright, Terry. Time to talk to the Imprisoned One once more.
You dare to approach, mortal.
The presence dances about you with amused chitters. It knows that the exits are closed to you now. Bhaalspawn and Imprisoned One together, two dangerous entities locked away for the price of one. Perhaps now you are convinced that the false Hellmites intended this all along. I demand to know how to get out of here. Images flow through your mind as the presence considers. It offers that there are two ways to exit. The first is to listen to its offer. The second is to destroy it. Without the Imprisoned One, the presence imagines that the prison would be once again open. Behind this feeling is muffled amusement. Do we want to deal with the Imprisoned One here? Do we want to bargain with an entity so powerful that it was sealed away in this prison with the intention of it never, ever, ever being freed? I imagine the Imprisoned One is going to offer a plan that helps us get our own back against the false Hellmites, but we can do that just as easily if we decide to deal with the Imprisoned One ourselves. And Terry at this point is probably so angry that she just wants to get out. And this is the way that most likely guarantees her freedom, which means that we're going to fight. Then show yourself so I can destroy you. The swirling images clarify suddenly, overwhelming your mind with a strong sensation of evil. It crawls along your consciousness like the blackest of oils. The stench of sulfur and sweet carrion fill the room as a form begins to take shape before you.
Know me then by my best name, mortal. You face Demogorgon, Prince of Demons.
One last fleeting thought comes. Words from an ancient evil so alien to your awareness that communication is barely possible. But this thought sears into your consciousness clearly. It is time to fight the most powerful demon of the Abyss. And immediately the most powerful demon of the Abyss takes a lot of damage due to all of the traps that we have set. That is why we did that. If we were very lucky with the rolls and maybe got a few more traps off, we could have killed Demogorgon before the combat even began. And we did!
No! No! This cannot be!
Bye, Demogorgon! Ha ha ha! We just gained a lot of experience. 100,000 experience each, folks, for defeating Demogorgon.
Of course.
By just laying lots of traps around him. You know, Demogorgon really should have not done that. Not let us, place all those traps there. Was Demogorgon so utterly confident of victory that, it believed that it would survive all the traps and then kill us, it probably should have moved them or disarmed them or stepped a little over here. Because while we weren't in combat, Demogorgon wasn't considered a hostile target, and thus the traps didn't trigger. In D&D, in the tabletop, that wouldn't be the case. The traps would have set off anyway. But Demogorgon's folly is our triumph. That fight is an extremely tricky one if it goes on for more than a couple of seconds, because one of the first things that Demogorgon does is summon 2 Mariliths, and we have seen how devastatingly powerful Mariliths are. Those 2 Mariliths combined with Demogorgon's ability to deal a colossal amount of damage in melee very quickly would wipe out our party in short order. But I had a plan for dealing with Demogorgon's might. We do have Wands of Spell Striking, and we do have Breach. I'd have been using the Wands of Spell Striking to get through Demogorgon's continuously cast protective buffs, and there are a lot of them. Demogorgon has improved mantles, stone skins, things that resist spells and reflect spells, and so many things that protect it, but we'd be able to get through them with the Wand of Spell Striking, and all we would have needed were a few hits. Without using traps, I would have just been attacking extremely quickly, and then using the Wands of Spell Striking to get through the defences. Another way to deal with those defences is Casimir, or the sword that we got in here, which is good, which is basically Casimir for blackguards. They are also extremely good, provided that you can land hits. Every hit you land casts a extremely powerful Dispel Magic, and gets rid of those buffs, at least for a round. And with that, folks, Demogorgon is gone. Anticlimactic? Possibly, but it's much better than actually fighting Demogorgon legitimately. To be fair, that is actually quite a legitimate way of dealing with a Demogorgon. I actually used Hexat's abilities extremely effectively. I know I don't use all of Hexat's things like I should, but there, right there, is how you use traps. You may notice that there is absolutely nothing left on the ground for us, and that is because you get nothing loot-wise for defeating Demogorgon. What you do get, however, is 100,000 experience points, and that is a lot, because that gives Terry another level, and some more hit points, and more abilities here. I feel like another Greater Whirlwind attack is probably a good idea. She wasn't the only one to level, though. Korgan has also leveled. And Korgan is going to gain another critical strike ability. Why not? And Dawn has leveled as well. And I am sort of tempted to take that, but I don't think it would work as something I could use, because I do think you need to prepare it. It's actually a good thing for Dawn to prepare, because of the fact that Dawn doesn't really get that many spell slots as a blackguard, but considering that we don't actually have any spell slots, Greater Whirlwind Attack is a better call. Now, everybody else needs a little bit of experience. You need 25,000, you need 17,000, you admittedly are a long way off. And there really is nothing for us to loot here. And if we rest, nothing will happen, because there's nothing here anymore. No entity is here at all, the prison is no longer a prison, and we are free to leave at our leisure. One of these will take us out, I think the other one will take us to the other floor. Let's see where this one leads us to. And we need to be very quick with the, this leads us back to here. Okay. That's fine. So if we go into the other one, we can then open up the door to the Imprisoned One. Not that we really need to anymore, because we're never going to be coming back here. We have done all that we need to do. With the defeat of Demogorgon, this quest is pretty much over. Also, let's put this on preemptively, just in case.
Very well.
That fight could have been extremely tricky, but fortunately, we were able to prevent the combat from even being a thing. And I'm not gonna say no to that. If the game gives you an easy way to get out of a terribly difficult fight, you take it.
If you say
Also, we have 2 people here on the same spot. There we go. There's just one more thing that we need to do now, and that is confront the so-called Hellmites and see what their plan really was. Was Demogorgon right? Did they intend to imprison us at the same time for all eternity? Let's find out.
You return. We sensed that the lower vault had been breached. What has occurred? Did you not cast the ritual?
I did cast your ritual, only to find myself entombed with your Imprisoned One. But if you were able to cast the ritual... No, your presence here means that Demogorgon is destroyed! By Helm, you destroyed him? You tricked me. You meant to lock me up in there with him. I did. I am ashamed to say it, but I did. I did not think you, or anyone, would be strong enough to actually slay the Prince of Demons. So you sent us in to be torn to bloody chunks? I'm tempted to show you how we treated your sorry demon. Terry, let's hack this sot apart and be done with them all! Not that Demogorgon is dead. You destroyed his form on this plane, freeing him to return to the Abyss. For him, this is as good as his freedom. Oh, we have failed our god. We were too cowardly to accept our duty, to enter the keep and seal ourselves within with the ritual. And now the Imprisoned One is free. But at least Demogorgon is not free to roam the land. That would have been horror beyond belief. Perhaps Helm will forgive us, for at least you have prevented that. I have done you a great misdeed. My pride told me I could not be sacrificed, but that a Bhaalspawn, it was a grievous wrong. Can you forgive a foolish man? Forgive you? Forget it, fool. Payback's a bitch. We have fallen from our true calling, but it is Helm who shall judge us. We shall not stand idly as you murder us, Bhaalspawn. To arms, my brethren! We're going to kill them, because that is the last straw for Terry's patience. Them going, well, we'd have imprisoned a Bhaalspawn, that's fine. No, that is not fine. That will never be fine. And so, it is time to have at thee.
Have you nothing else to do but bother me?
We're going to kill them. This may be easier said than done, of course, because, they are tricky. Let us, use this. And we have a wizard to take care of. We should take care of the wizards first. You go there. You go there. Are they actually wizards? I think they might be wizards. Okay. We have gained some experience there for, killing someone. You have cast a spell that is... Defensive Harmony, I think? I'm not quite sure what that spell is, but it isn't going to be something we have to worry about, really. Because I think we can handle this. Okay, ooh, that's something we probably need to deal with. Or maybe not, because, let's face it, I don't think the Knights of Vigil here are going to be a problem. Ooh, that, however, might be a problem. Let's move you away from that. That's going to, ooh, who is that actually targeted at? Good question. I think that's targeted at pretty much everyone.
We shall be ours.
Dispel magic might be a good plan here. However, that's going to be tricky with the sheer amount of spells that are active on us. We could try a Dragon's Breath. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. And to succeed at defeating Demogorgon only to fall here would be a bit silly. However, we do have potions, so we can have people quaff potions, and you should probably also quaff a few potions. There we go. You drink that. And we will have a... Ooh! Oh dear.
You are lucky.
Oh dear indeed, that did hurt. Hopefully we can heal you up. We also need to heal you up too. Alright, that's another person. Oh, time stop there for the Vigil Knight. What is happening with the time stop? Edwin save versus spell. That's nice. Dawn is panicking. Dawn is still panicking. Symbol of stun on Korgan. That's not going to do anything. I think Edwin is about to perish. But we can do this fight without Edwin, I think. Should have buffed a bit more for this. Ease drink. There we go. You drank that potion. Marvelous. We need you to attack here. Deal with that Vigil Knight. Shouldn't be too tricky. Oh dear, you're down to 1 hit point. That pretty much means you are out of this fight. Also, that was really good at dealing with our stone skin, and this is the true final fight of the encounter. Ooh, that is a fireball. That's not good. That's really not good, considering the sheer amount of health that we have lost. And he really took care of you, though. Few hits and you will be gone. We don't need to worry about Hexat. Hexat is going to come back later. And now we just need to take care of you. We really want... Ooh, okay, the spell has finally expired, which is really good, because now we can start working on these buffs that the wizard has. That is, if we can actually target the wizard, which we can't. I think you should quaff another one of these. And you should quaff one of these too. That is the simulacrum gone. So let us... Oh, there we go. You are back. Now we can start targeting you with things like a breach here. Actually, we can't target you with a breach because you are currently not visible. What about this? You're nearly gone, so this isn't going to be too tricky. There we go! And with that, we have gained our vengeance. And you are still taking damage here. Only a little bit of damage, though.
Yes.
I think a Dispel Magic should probably do the trick here. There we go! That was what I wanted to do way back when that spell first set off. And with that, folks, we have gained our revenge. And what a vengeance it was, because let's face it, Terry wasn't going to stand for that. That fight was far more tricky than Demogorgon, but we still prevailed. Let us rest, get Hexat back, and we need to very quickly have you pick up the Cloak of Dragomir and put that on. And grab all of your gear. We'll be looting in a little bit. There we go. Just once we got all of our stuff back into our inventory and equipped. Want to put this back on, that back on, all of this. It still hasn't sunk in yet, by the way, that Demogorgon is gone. There were trickier fights in the game than Demogorgon, but to be fair, Demogorgon is, once you are up to the point where you can actually face Demogorgon, isn't the trickiest of foes. Demogorgon, you're facing him when you are an epic level party, and you have all of the tools you need to take care of Demogorgon by the time you get to Demogorgon. You just need to know which tools to use in what place. And so, folks, when we come back, we're going to loot the remains of the Knights of the Vigil, and then we are going to go and do some selling. We did, by the way, miss out on small bits of experience by defeating the Knights of the Vigil like that. We get quest experience for letting them go. But let's be honest, folks. They did not deserve to be let go. Oh no, they did not. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. For when we do return, all we have to do is buy and sell, and then go to the end of Shadows of Amn. For this was the capstone optional fight from Throne of Bhaal. We still have Shadows of Amn to get through. And if you're thinking that'll be a bit easy now that we've dealt with the ultimate optional fight, don't think that. Because Shadows of Amn has a few surprises to throw at us yet. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.